Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's Prophecy Update. As always, it's our desire to bring the events that are happening in the world from a biblical perspective and also a prophetic perspective. So thanks for joining us this week. What we're going to talk about this week is what recently came out of the World Economic Forum. They produced a position paper. Newsmax held the story, and this position paper from the World Economic Forum discusses that we have to raise gas prices in order to save democracy. It's insane. So we're going to talk about that in this broadcast. We're going to talk about what's going on with fossil fuels and how that plays into the global government, the global economy, and going to a one world government system. So on Monday, according to Newsmax, the World Economic Forum just released a position paper. This was written by Colorado State University economics professor Edward B. Barbier. Now, again, this guy's a lunatic. Again, he's part of the narrative, part of the problem. But he wrote in this position paper that there are two problems that we're all facing. He says the one main problem is global warming, climate sustainability, all that junk, that green narrative that we've heard about, which is nothing but a hoax. So we know that. So he said, we got to save the planet. And then the new thing that they've added, this is interesting. They've added that it's going to save democracy, that we have to save democracy by going green. Now, he doesn't establish the link at all, but he just says this is part of our problems. We have two major problems, the decline in democracy, and then we have global warming or whatever. And those are the two things. So what's different now is they're linking democracy or the decline of democracy with not going green. That's so insane, so ridiculous. But he continues on. Let me read the article. This Barbier says this: for the past 15 years, democracy has been in decline worldwide. To protect and promote freedom, leading democracies must strengthen their economies and safeguard liberty. He continues on. These two aims are not mutually exclusive, but complementary. Reducing reliance on fossil fuels and transitioning to low-carbon alternatives also make democratic economies more sustainable. Can you get that? How does that happen? I don't know, but he links the two. Major democracies should work together to achieve these two goals. So there you have it, folks. It's the most insane narrative to begin with, that there's man-made carbon emissions causing global warming. That's a hoax, we know that. But now the other hoax is democracy. In order to save democracies, because they've been declining, we've got to go off of fossil fuels and help our economic situation. And it's like, you guys are insane. You guys are going to destroy the economy by doing this. It's not going to help democracies. It's actually going to destroy democracies. And again, that's the end game, to destroy the economics, to get us off fossil fuels, and destroy the kinds of governments that we have. Because what do they want? They want a one world government. So they're moralizing it even more because saving the planet is not enough moral incentive for people. They now got to say, we're going to save democracies and incentivize that and moralize that so people will get more on board on going global and cutting off fossil fuels. But you guys know what the issue is. I'm standing here at one of California's beaches. I'm on vacation. That's why I'm doing it here. And when you look at California, it is a microcosm of the global government. California, with Gavin Newsom, has destroyed all fossil fuel production. And back of me is our ocean line in California, where there is tons of oil that we can drill very cleanly. California, it could exist as a nation in and of itself. But they cut off fossil fuels. They're destroying the oil industry in California. They could drill right off the coast and get plenty of oil. And then we have always a water problem in California, but we have plenty of water. The problem is the environmentalists won't let us capture it, won't let us build dams, won't let us build reservoirs. And so we're always in a drought because the eco-friendly people just want to keep it like prehistoric-like. They don't want to trap the water. In fact, they let 500 million gallons of rainwater flow into the ocean because we don't want to hurt the Delta smelt fish. It's not even native to California. So when you look at California, it's a beautiful place, but it's absolutely been ruined by leftists and globalists like Gavin Newsom. Remember, Gavin Newsom is a trained globalist by Klaus Schwab. And so they have destroyed this economy in California. It's nothing but a welfare state. It used to be a beautiful state. It actually used to be a conservative state, and we used to have good farming and good oil production, and it made us one of the most lucrative states or places in the world. But now that's all changed because the globalists have got their hands on California and are destroying it. And they're doing it through the eco movement of getting off of fossil fuels, nuclear, coal, gas, all that stuff to go to electric. Why? So they can control us. So when you look at California and the state that I live in, understand that what's happening here in California is coming to you. It's coming to you in your state, and it's going to go global because that's how they're going to control us. They don't want us to have the freedom of movement that fossil fuels allows us. It provides cheap energy. It allows more liberty. But they don't want us to have more liberty, so they have to cut us off of fossil fuels. And now, as you can see with the World Economic Forum, they are adding, we're going to save democracy. They're not for democracy. Understand they're for totalitarian rule. They believe in an elite group ruling class over everybody. They don't even believe in politics. They don't believe in representative government. They don't believe in a constitutional republic. They don't believe in democracy. What they believe in is global elites controlling everything. So they're moralizing this issue so that they can press people more into getting into their stupid electric cars and not having gas, not having coal, not having nuclear or anything like that, so they can control us. That's what this is about. So as you see me here in California, it's already begun here, and it will continue to go through the rest of the United States and globally, because this is how they're going to do it. So go to Newsmax, read the article, and he makes several points that I want to point out. So this Barbier writes in this position paper, the leading democracies of the G20 should collectively commit to phasing out costs and tax breaks for the production and consumption of fossil fuels. You see what he's saying? He's saying we should raise the prices. Don't give anybody any tax breaks because we need to phase this out. So we need to increase the prices. They should also phase in more efficient pricing of fossil fuels through taxes or tradable permits to cover the costs of local air pollution, global warming, and other economic damages. So they're saying we should add more taxes to fossil fuels to do all these green things. So they're just going to basically make it unaffordable for us to go on gasoline or any type of fossil fuels. And check this out. They say the World Economic Paper said that a clean energy transition led by major economies is essential for attaining net zero carbon emissions by 2050. But it's not going to be 20. They're shooting for 2030 is really what they're looking at. Zero net emissions, that means we don't even exist. That means we don't function. That means we can't do anything. We'll be locked down. So here are his 3 points that I wanted to show you. He goes on in this position paper from the World Economic Forum to say this. Number one, and the underpricing of fossil fuels. Basically, they don't want to make fossil fuels cheap anymore. They want to raise the price so it's so astronomical that you can't afford it. Just like they're doing with food. They're raising the prices of food so that you can't afford it, so they can control you and I. The second point, adopt a carbon border adjustment mechanism that imposes a tax on carbon-intensive imports. So if you're importing anything into your country, into your state that produces a lot of carbon, they're going to tax the fire out of that. They're going to tax it so high it won't be worth doing business anymore like that. And lastly, recycle the revenues saved or raised through reforming fossil fuels markets to fund additional green innovation, investments, and protection. So what are they going to do with all this tax revenue on us and carbon producing equipment, carbon producing machines or whatever? What are they going to do with all this money? Go green with it. More wind, more solar, more stupid things that don't help us. And so at the end of the day, what you need to understand, This is an assault on freedom. It is an assault by the World Economic Forum to take away our freedom, to make us slaves for the one world government. All of this is about is control. So connecting this to prophecy then is exactly where this is going. It's going to a global religion. It'll be a green religion, an ESG score, diversity, inclusion, equity score. And you better march according to that tune, because when they go to a digital economy, that digital economy will be green and they'll have an ESG score along with that. So you can't buy and sell unless it's green. They're going to control you that way. And again, all this is leading to a global government of controlling people and making them slaves. So what does this mean right now for us? It means that gas prices are not going to get lower. They're going to continue to get higher. They're wanting to push us off gasoline and onto electric. And so don't expect gas prices to return to normal ever. They're going to continue to skyrocket so they can have their zero carbon emissions, push us all off onto electric cars so they can control us. And when they can control our movement, that restricts our freedom. And we're starting to become slaves, whether we know it or not. But here's the good news. That means we're closer to the tribulation. That means that we're closer to seeing the rapture of the church happen. And so that is our saving grace. That's what we should be looking for. We see the table setting for the tribulation. We see what they're going to do to people in the tribulation, and we can get a taste of it ourselves. But the good news is Jesus is coming back for his church, and he's going to rapture us out of here. So don't forget that. Keep your eyes on that. And like Jesus said, when you see all these things begin to happen, lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. God bless you. We'll see you next time.